Right, hello everyone and welcome to this new video on the channel. So today I'm going to be reacting to my Premier League predictions that I made just before the start of the season. So have I got this spot on or am I going to get it horribly wrong? There's only one way to find out. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So I've also done this for League 2, so if you want to check that video out, it'll be linked somewhere just above my head. I'm going to do it for League 1 and the Championship as well, but I just want to get the Premier League out as soon as possible. So the aim here is to get the least amount of points possible. So you're going to get 0 points if you get a team's prediction spot on, and then you're going to get a point per place that they're out if you've got that prediction wrong. So for example, if I predicted a team to finish in 15th and they finished in 17th, I would get 2 points. Same if I predicted them to finish in 13th and they finish 15th, I'd also get 2 points. So what you're going to see in the table is you're going to see the team that I predicted, and then to the right of that, you're going to see where they actually finished and then how many places are out. So if they did better than I thought they'd do, they'd get a plus. If they did worse, they'd get a minus, and then the amount of places that was out. And if I got it bang on, then it'll be 0. So that's how it works. If you want to play along with your predictions as well, let me know in the comments what score you got at the end of it. Hopefully, like I say, I can get the lowest score possible. So without further ado, anyway, let's get into my predictions. Okay, so the way this is going to work, we're going to break it up into small segments, and then the further up the table we'll get, the more it'll be based on one team, because if I explain every team, it's going to take forever. So we're going to start off with the teams that I predicted to get relegated to the Championship. So we've not had the best of starts here, to be honest with you. None of the teams I predicted went down. I've had a bit of a shock with these. Hopefully, like I say, things can get better. So let's just go ahead and show you how I did. So in 20th place, I had Bournemouth. 19th place, I had Fulham. And then in 18th place, I had Brentford. So some big scores going on there. And that's kind of what I get for underestimating these teams. So Bournemouth, I think, to be fair, these have cost people a lot of points. I think pretty much everyone, barring a few, will have predicted them to finish bottom. They actually finished in 15th, so I get 5 points for that. Fulham were really the surprise package. To be honest, I had them finishing 17th for most of my drafts, and then at the last minute, I put them in 19th, but even if they'd done that, they'd have well exceeded my expectations. They ended up finishing in 10th, which has been an unbelievable season for Fulham. They've had a unbelievable season, really, and they deserve a lot of credit for that. And in the final relegation place, I had Brentford, and I thought second season syndrome had hit him very hard here, and I thought with Ericsson leaving as well, it'd be a tough one. But they've proven wrong again. Like, they are an extremely well-run club, and they just seem to get it right every year. Like, they'll lose a player or something will happen, and they'll have someone planned in already, and they'll prove to be just as good or not even better, and that's what we've done here. They've had an absolutely fantastic year. They could have got into Europe as well. They finished in 9th place, and yeah, but like that win against Tottenham, the second to last game of the season, really gave them a chance. And if results had gone the way, they could have been in the Conference League, but it wasn't to be this year. But anyway, they've done a lot better than I thought they'd originally do. Okay, so next up, we're going to go for the teams that finished 17th to 14th. So the teams that are kind of were around the fringes of the relegation places, but just managed to avoid it. So how do I do here? I'm not too disappointed with this, to be fair. There's no real shockers in there. Like I say, 2 of the teams did end up going down, but I'm not too disappointed with that. So, like I say, 17th I had Leeds, 16th Southampton, 15th Nottingham Forest, and 14th Everton. So let's start with Leeds then. I thought they'd just have enough to survive. I thought they'd score enough goals. We always never going to concede, but I thought they would score enough and have a bit more quality than the bottom 3 to survive, but that didn't end up being the case. They just leaked far too many goals. They've never really recovered since Bielsa left, and yeah, it's just not been good enough, and they went down, which yeah, we're going to be a big club back in the Championship after this big rebuild. So yeah, shame to see them down there, but it weren't enough at the end of the day. And then we've got Southampton, a bit like Leeds. I thought they'd just have enough quality to survive, but it didn't end up being the case. They finished bottom of the league by a fair distance, to be fair. And yeah, it's been a poor season for them. They've just not looked up for it at all. And yeah, I thought we'd have enough to survive, but they proved me wrong. And then next up, we've got Forest, Swindon 15th. They end up finishing in 16th. A good season, Forest, and especially after spent all that money, it could have horribly backfired, but luckily they managed to survive. It looked like at one point they were dropping in further and further down, and looked like they could have been in trouble, but they had a good run of form at the end of the season and managed to save themselves, so congratulations to Forest. And then finally in this segment, we've got Everton, who I predicted to finish 14th, finish 17th. I thought, just like Leeds and Southampton, I thought we'd have enough quality to stay up than what the bottom three had. They cut it close, I'm not going to lie, they cut it very close. Could have easily gone down, but another season that they've just survived in the Premier League. It were a bit closer this time, but nevertheless, they did survive. It's going to be interesting how they do under Dyche now for the rest, for the next few seasons. If they're going to build on it, because like I say, under Lampard, we're in a bit of a free fall, and then Dyche has they've not been great, but he's definitely tightened it up. So it's going to be interesting to see how Everton build on that. Right, so the next few teams are going to be making up the rest of the bottom half. So quite pleased to say, apart from one team, I did pretty well here. So as you can see, I got 2 bang on and then 1 horribly wrong. So we had Wolves in 13th, Brighton in 12th, and Palace in 11th. So Wolves bang on. I thought, like I say, I thought it would be comfortably safe, but nothing spectacular like we have done the last few seasons. Thought it'd be like, bottom half, pretty safe. Like, could easily, if in trouble, get dragged down there, but have enough pretty comfortably to survive, and that is what we did. We're going to Brighton in a sec. We're going to go to Palace first. I got them spot on. I just thought it would be, around bang on mid-table. We've got a very good team, very good attacking players. I'm a big fan of Eze and Elise, and obviously Wilfred Zaha. Obviously, we got rid of Vieira, and then good old Woy came in and sorted him out. He did a fantastic job at Palace and finished him comfortably in 11th place. And then we move on to Brighton, who I picked 12th. And to be fair, I didn't think this were going to be too far out. I thought we were going to have a good season, but not as good as we've actually had. They ended up finishing in 6th and obviously qualified for the Europa League. But yeah, I thought we'd have a very good season, but I weren't expecting him to do that well as well. And I also didn't see Graham Potter leaving, which, yeah, I mean, it's interesting to see how they'd have done if they'd have kept Potter. But yeah, nevertheless, it's been a fantastic season for Brighton. I've loved watching them play. I'm a big fan of watching him, and especially Matoma, I'm a big fan of him as well. I watched them live against Everton early in the year, and the way they play it about is just absolutely fantastic. It's so good to watch, and deservedly they've finished 6th, so massive congratulations to Brighton. I'm so glad they've had a good season. Okay, next up we've got the bottom half of the top half, so the teams that have just missed out on Europe. So in 10th place, I had Leicester. 9th place, I had Aston Villa, and then 8th place, West Ham. Oh dear, Leicester City. Leicester City. They let me down massively. They've gave me 8 points as they've ended up getting relegated, finishing in 18th. I thought they'd not have the best of seasons, but I did not expect them to get relegated. I think it's kind of caught up to them. Like we've sold a lot of the best players, and the squad we've had has aged quite a bit. Obviously, Vardy's getting on now, and the rest of them, it's going to catch up to you eventually. And like I say, Rodgers leaving as well. Dean Smith coming in to try and save it, but unfortunately, he couldn't make it work. I was pretty surprised by this. I thought they would drop off, but I didn't expect that big a drop off. So it's going to be interesting next year, because we're going to have a massive rebuild if we want to come straight back up to the Prem, because it's not going to be easy, because there's a lot of big teams in the Championship next year. Now with Aston Villa, it looked like I was going to be horribly wrong here, because under Gerrard they were struggling, and then Unai Emery came in and they've had a fantastic end of the season and ended up finishing in Europe in 7th. So they've done absolutely superbly, and they should be up there with the squad they've got. They've got a good squad, and they're a big club for, say they've been in Championship for a couple of seasons and been lower in the bottom half. So it's good to see him doing well again. I'm a big fan of Aston Villa. Got a bit of a soft spot for him. So yeah, it's great to see him doing well this year, and I'm glad they picked it up a bit, because it could have been a lot of points added to my total if I didn't. And then we've got West Ham. It's always hard to judge with West Ham, because you just never know with him. They'll have a really good year and you think they'll do well, and then they drop off for next year, and then vice versa. They've dropped off, so you think we're going to do bad, and then they have a good year. So yeah, they ended up finishing in 14th place. It was a bit of a underachievement in terms of the league. However, they could still get into Europe if they win the Conference League final against Fiorentina on the Wednesday. Like I say, I'm filming this on the Tuesday. It'll probably be out the next day, so if you're watching it, the final might have happened, it might not have. So nevertheless, I thought West Ham would do a bit better than they have done. It's been a bit of an underwhelming season for them. However, they look like they could have got dragged into a dogfight in the relegation zone. So in that sense, they'll be quite happy that they survived. But in another sense, I'm sure they'd like to do a lot better than they have done. Okay, so next up, I'm going to go through the European teams from 5th to 7th, so they was missing out on the Champions League. So let's have a look how I did. Yeah, not the best here. In 7th, I had Newcastle, 6th, Man United, and 5th, Chelsea. So let's start with Newcastle. Newcastle, I've done absolutely fantastic. I had a feeling they'd have a good year, but they've just exceeded that. I thought this would be the year they kind of dip the toes back into Europe, and then the year after they kind of have a push to try and get into that top 4, but they've gone one season better than that, and they've just gone straight into 4th. So congratulations to Newcastle. Like I said, Eddie Howe has done superb because they've spent money, but I don't think they've absolutely splashed for cash. They've bought really smart, and they've really coached like the players we've had, and they just look a really good squad. I really like squad that's together, that play for each other, and Eddie Howe's done superb with that squad. Like, I think I've always thought he was quite an underrated manager, but just see what he's done with that squad is unbelievable. Next, we've got Man United. This was a very, very tough one to call because I kind of had a feeling they could have sneaked into top 4 because I thought Erik ten Hag would be a good appointment, but I thought it'd take a couple of years of kind of rebuilding to get him up to that stage. But they have had a really good season, finishing in 3rd. We've had a few ups and downs, like I say, like just losing the FA Cup final, and obviously they had the 7-0 loss to Liverpool and a few other things, like the 4-0 loss to Brentford at the start of the season. But yeah, I'd be really happy with that if I'm a Man U fan, finishing 3rd, and then we can really build on it next year, because I think we've got a really good coach in Erik ten Hag. I think he's like, I don't think anyone apart from Van Gaal, maybe, I don't think there's anyone who's got that nastiness and fear factor about him that ten Hag has since Fergie. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see Man U next year. Will they be able to close the gap, and especially on like teams like Arsenal, will be able to do that and even try and close the gap on the noisy neighbours Man City. And then yeah, I've got to talk about Chelsea. Tough one to judge this because obviously Abramovich leaving and then getting the new owners in. It was always going to be an interesting one. You never kind of fully knew how they do with a lot of uncertainty at the club, but it's not been a good one. And I think getting rid of Tuchel was a massive mistake as well. Obviously Potter came in and it didn't work out, and then back to good old trusty Frank Lampard, who just didn't make it work, did it? I think the problem with Chelsea is they spent a hell of a lot of money on a lot of players, a lot of good players as well. But just because you're buying good players doesn't mean that they're going to play well together. And I think they've proved that there with these signings. It's been an awful year for Chelsea. We ended up finishing in 12th, so not only did we not get Europe, we didn't even get a top half finish. So yeah, disastrous year for Chelsea. It's really going to be interesting to see how they do next year, because they've got a massive job. They need to get back into Europe. And it's going to be one of them as well, with Abramovich leaving. Is this the end of kind of like Chelsea's era at the top? Are they ever going to be able to recover from this? Or are they going to be a lot lower team from now on? Okay, let's go through 3rd and 4th now. So 4th place I had Arsenal, and 3rd place I had Tottenham. So with Arsenal, I thought back in the Champions League this year, I thought they would do it. They've got a good, I've always said they've got the best squad for the future. They've got a good young squad, good young manager, and like I say, some of it can really build on here, and they did this season. And they were looking like they were going to win the league, but unfortunately, I think that's the other problem with a good young squad. There's a lot of inexperience. So when it comes to like the big crunch moments, the moments where you need that bit of experience, I think Arsenal lacked that a bit, and that's why City mainly pepped them to the title. Excuse the pun there. But yeah, really good season for Arsenal, considering they just missed out on top 4 last year as well. They'll be absolutely ecstatic to get back into the Champions League. I know they could have won the league, but like I said, they've got a good young squad, and I'm sure they'll be back again. They could easily do it in a few years' time, or even next season. Who knows? And then Tottenham. It's been a bit of a car crash season for Spurs here. Yeah, they end up finishing 8th and haven't even got Europe at all next year. So not a good year at all for Spurs. They were looking on the fringes of getting Champions League, but then they've just slipped down the table, and it's just been a nightmare for them. So they really need to rebuild. They need to keep Kane, which, in all honesty, I don't think they will. But yeah, Tottenham's going to be a strange one. I've not got a clue how they're going to do next year. It's going to be an interesting one. Okay, we've got the top 2 now. So did I pick the league champions right, or did I have Liverpool and I lost a lot of points? Nope, I got it spot on. I said Liverpool 2nd and then City winning the league. Obviously, I didn't get it spot on with Liverpool, as they finished in 5th. I think a lot of people kind of underestimated the loss that Sadio Mane has had on Liverpool. It's been huge. Obviously, Salah gets all the credit, but Mane was such a big part of that squad, and losing him has really had a big impact. Also, I think the squad's aging quite a bit. I don't think the midfield's good enough, and like I say, Salah and Firmino they've turned 30 this season, and obviously Firmino's leaving. Like I say, the aging squad, it's caught up to them a bit, and we're going to need to spend a bit in the summer if we want to get back into that top four, or even get back close to challenging City again. And speaking of City, I thought we'd have just too much for him. I weren't too sure how Haaland would do. I thought he'd do well, but I didn't think he'd do as well as he actually did. So yeah, it's really like they're just unreal, City, and they could even do the treble, which would be fantastic for him. And I'm sure United fans will be hoping they don't, but they've just looked another level, to be fair. Even when Arsenal were flying, you just had that feeling that City were just there, ready for him to make a mistake and capitalise on any mistake they made, and that is exactly what they did. So congratulations to City. Obviously, they've got me no points there because I predicted them to win. So let's see how I did. Okay, so my final score at the end of this was at 79 points. So could have been better, could have been worse. I think the relegation the teams that I picked to get relegated, cost me a lot of points. Like I got 23 points alone from the bottom three, and then obviously Leicester and Chelsea. I think a lot of people who's done this have lost a lot of points on them two teams, and like I say, relegation were a tricky one this year. There were quite a few teams who easily could have been dragged into it, so it's not too bad. I'll take 79 compared to a few of the others, like I did in League 2, and you'll see how I did in the Championship and League 1 ones later on. But anyway, that is it for this video. Let me know your score in the comments below. Please like and subscribe. We're edging very close to 800 subs, and we are, of course, on the road to 1,000 subs as well. So every subscribe means the absolute world and makes a big difference. So thank you very much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.